Hello students, how are you today? Let's start our class, continue with the history of the United States. Remember that we have checking some information that's important. And let's make a very short review about this. Probably you know and remember perfectly this information, but remember that it's better um, to checking the information again than a very, very good memory. Okay, here the first thing we started knowing it was about the first people that arrived to America, and these people came from Asia. Remember that they were hunting with animals and they followed the animals through the Bering Strait, and without knowing, they were in the America, United States. These groups or these families started small and then they become bigger and bigger, and they continue like tribes in the United States, and then they were known as American the American Indians. These people were occupying the whole country, and these people had a very specific name. Also, they had different languages, they wore different clothes, and they ate different animals and plants according to the region they were living. We had the northeast, the southwest, the Great Plains, the Northeast, and the Southeast. And all these people were the first people in America. After that, Christopher Columbus arrived to America, and they said, "Oh, this is the India, so you're gonna be called Indian." That's why we all in America called Indians. After Christopher Columbus arrived to America, many explorers tried to look for new opportunities, and they also wanted precious metals and land to start a new life. So here we have the 13 colonies that we also know that I'm gonna mention them: New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Virginia, Pennsylvania, and New York. So all the people that mainly they were from England stayed in the 13 colonies, and the population in the United States were specifically in this area. Just a little, others were all around the country. And in these people, we had a man that discovered gold in California. When he discovered gold in California, people were crazy. They all wanted to be rich, and they decided to take a big adventure in order to find gold and to become millionaire. So they decided to make very dangerous journeys all around, not only the United States, but the South of America and some other options that they took in order to arrive to California. So during this process, the people were spreading in the United States, not only in the 13 colonies, but in the whole uh, country. Also, during the 13 colonies, if you remember the information, we had the slavery. That is a very painful event in the United States that is part of the history. So these slaves were forced to come to North America from Africa. So they were part of the big plantations they had about cotton, tobacco, and many other products. Related to the slavery, we had the movement that it was part of the civil rights, especially by two important people, Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King. They were people who were against the slaves and the discrimination. Here we have all these things that were very bad, not for only for the people, but the whole population, the slavery, discrimination, and segregation. So let's watch the video we have here about the civil rights that were defended by Rosa Parks and Dr. Martin Luther King. Pay attention to the video.
Welcome to Kids Academy.
Hello. Let's get started on the lesson. People come in many shapes, colors, and sizes. We are all special in our very own way. Did you know that some years ago, people were treated unfairly because they were different? People were forced to live in different communities based on skin color. This was called segregation. Black children and white children were not allowed to go to the same schools. Because of segregation laws, people of different colors could not eat at the same restaurants. Civil rights activists wanted to change these unfair laws. An activist is a person who works hard to make changes happen in society. During the 1950s, buses were segregated. White passengers sat in the front, while black passengers sat in the back. One day, a brave woman named Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat to a white passenger. When she disobeyed, she was arrested and sent to jail. Her courage led to the Montgomery bus boycott in 1955. A boycott is when people stop using a service in order to create change. During the Montgomery bus boycott, people who supported Rosa decided to stop riding buses and walk instead. This gained the attention of American lawmakers. Bus segregation was soon outlawed in 1956. Martin Luther King Jr. was also an activist and leader in the civil rights movement. He led many marches and gave many speeches about equal rights for all. His most famous speech was called, "I Have a Dream." Later, Martin Luther King Jr. won the Nobel Peace Prize for his successful efforts. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 ended segregation laws in America. People could now live, work, and eat wherever they wanted. The Civil Rights Movement changed the way people live together in America. Let's review. Segregation is when people are separated from one another. People in America were once segregated based on skin color. Black and white people were not allowed to live in the same communities or sit next to one another on the bus. Activists, such as Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King Jr., were leaders in the civil rights movement. They wanted equal rights for all people. An activist is a person who works hard to make changes happen in society. A boycott is when people stop using a service in order to create change. The Montgomery bus boycott led to the end of bus segregation in 1956. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 ended segregation laws in America. People could now live, work, and eat wherever they wanted. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Subscribe to our channel.
Okay, so here we have this video about the civil rights that were defended by Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King. They especially fought against discrimination and segregation. So here we have an exercise related to the video. These questions are only about the comprehension of the video. So you have to circle the correct option. This is the first exercise. Then you have to reflect on the next information. How is important to being tolerant nowadays? Civil rights are important for all societies, and we have to respect each other all the time. Do you consider your opinion is important for society? Why or why not? According to the rights or the responsibilities you have as a young people, what is your opinion? And here we have a matching exercise. This matching exercise is about, for example, wearing a school uniform and some other things that are related to teenagers issues. And the activity that you have to upload in the classroom is this one. You have to write 5 responsibilities and 5 rights you have. This task is important to let you know is in the classroom. Okay, as a question. Remember that we have to work on this like questions in the classroom. No more documents. So it's not necessary to print any information. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you to do this. So let's make a very short review. Entonces tenemos que ustedes van a hacer como tarea esta actividad en la que tienen que escribir 5 responsabilidades y 5 derechos que ustedes tienen en casa o en la sociedad. Recuerden que sus respuestas siempre son en inglés. En la parte de arriba tienen un ejercicio, ¿sí?, que está relacionado con algunas cosas que pueden ser importantes como derechos, como opiniones, como obligaciones para los jóvenes de hoy en día. En las preguntas anteriores solamente van a reflexionar acerca de ello, ¿sí? El ejercicio que tenemos aquí que dice Instructions, read the sentences related to the video and circle the correct option. Es el que está relacionado con el video de Rosa Parks y Martin Luther King, que fueron personajes que defendieron los derechos civiles. ¿Ok? Recuerden que estamos viendo aspectos relevantes en cuanto a la sociedad norteamericana. Nos habíamos quedado en el proceso de la esclavitud. Entonces, después de que ya lograron abolir la esclavitud, de todas maneras había una situación de segregación y discriminación, hasta que los mismos afectados se levantaron para ser escuchados. En este caso, los primeros fueron Rosa Parks y Martin Luther King, ¿sí? Entonces, tenemos estos ejercicios que están relacionados con la comprensión del video, con los derechos de los jóvenes, algunas preguntas de reflexión y repito, esta última actividad es la que va a aparecer en su classroom. My dear sweetheart students, thank you very much for being in class. See you next week. Have an excellent evening. Goodbye to everyone. También les voy a compartir esta presentación y el link del video que utilicé de los derechos civiles. Thank you for being here. Goodbye.